Hello, hello. Oh, are we live? Cool. What's up, everyone? How's it going? Really nice to see all of you on this, Thursday morning. Super excited all of you came. I think we're going to have more people kind of trickling in as we're getting started here, but you all got the best seats in the house, so congratulations. My name is Randall. For those of you who don't know me, I've been an engineer and security person all my life. I do lots of developer education stuff. I actually work at Snyk, one of the companies who's like helping kind of throw this event. And yeah, I absolutely love using AI to make my life easier. The entire idea of today is to walk you all through not just how to use AI better to do your jobs, to do fun side projects, to build the next trillion-dollar company if you want, but also how to do it securely, and what are all the things you need to know practically to do this at a very high level of skill. We have some amazing presenters today. We're going to get into it in a moment. But before we do that, I want to cover a couple important things. So first of all, you will see up on my slides here, we have the Wi-Fi credentials. That is very, very important. The reason why is because you're actually going to be building stuff today. So have your laptops open, use the power, but you definitely are going to need some internet to do the things that are going to be interesting anyways. So make sure you get the credentials in there. If you, for some reason, forget the password or you need to share it with a partner who comes in late, if you don't mind just passing the word on to them, then that would be great. All right, so what are we covering today? Well, we're living in this very interesting AI era, right? All the stuff in the tech industry is completely focused on the things we're talking about today, and I think it's really interesting. Now, I'm a developer. How many of you are developers? Raise your hands. All right, good amount of people. All right. Now, the other types of people I'm assuming are here today are security professionals. How many of you would consider yourself more of a security professional? Throw your hands up. All right, cool, cool. Now, one thing I think that's really interesting about both developers and security professionals is we really kind of have the same goal with our crafts, right? And our goal is that we want to build quality software that users love, right? And I think it's really important to kind of just, a lot of the time developers and security professionals have different incentives, but fundamentally, we're trying to accomplish the same thing. I think it's really an interesting goal. So then the question becomes, how do you actually build quality software that users love? And I thought about this a bit, and I kind of broke it down into a few different buckets of things that make software quality. So to start, you have features, obviously. You can't have a quality piece of software unless it has the functionality that people actually need to make the software do the thing that people care about. So that's a given. There's also user experience. So I'm sure all of you have some idea of what a good user experience looks like in your head, a tool that you've used and that you absolutely loved. I know for me, many years ago, it was when I first used Heroku, the web hosting platform. I was like, oh my God, they absolutely nailed the developer experience on this. It was so elegant and beautiful, and I kind of fell in love with it. And that's the type of thing you want to impart onto the people who are using your software. There's also speed. So performance is really important, right? Nobody likes waiting for things to happen. And so performance is a really critical part of making quality software. And then I would personally argue that the last aspect to quality software is security. And obviously, all of you care about security since you actually came to San Francisco in the morning time, which we very much appreciate, to an AI security conference. So obviously, you care about it. But security is a fundamental building block of software. You can't have an online bank without security. It would just be absolutely terrible, right? You can't have medical software without security because no one would feel confident going to their doctor, having all this confidential information around. And so it really is what I consider to be a very underrepresented part of software quality. But I think it's important to just note that you can't have quality software without it. And I would personally argue that building quality software for all of us in this room who actually care about our craft has literally never been more important at any time than it is literally right now. And I think there's a lot of reasons why this is true. I'm going to go through a couple of things that popped into my mind when I was putting this together a couple days ago. But first of all, medical issues. So medical stuff for humanity is a really big deal, right? Like none of us live forever. There's lots of different diseases and things you can get. And there's a lot of innovation happening where medical professionals are deploying AI to make substantial gains in human lifespan and treating disease. It's really interesting. So if you haven't heard of it, there's a really interesting application called Chief. It's an AI model built by Harvard researchers. And what it does is it analyzes lots of different biomarkers from blood tests and like other medical exams. And it basically helps doctors figure out early if people have cancer and build personalized plans to help them deal with the types of cancers that they have, try different experimental treatments, and try to extend the quality of life that people have. And these are things that weren't really possible a few years ago. They would have taken way more time and money and energy to make happen, right? Also war. So war has been something that all of us have been plagued with our entire existence as humans, right? There's a lot of interesting projects that help minimize impacts of war. So in Oslo, there's a peace research institute and a university where they basically built this application called Views. It's an AI application, and what it does is it basically uses a lot of government and satellite data to forecast violent conflicts up to a year and a half before they take place, or sorry, up to 3 years before they take place. And then they use this information to coordinate with non-governmental agencies with diplomatic efforts to try to reduce the impacts of an upcoming conflict and send resources to where they can be used to help civilian populations the most. This is stuff that makes a very material difference on millions of lives around the world every single year. And it's really cool that like the industry we're in is like empowering people to be able to do this. And then the final thing that I thought about was education. And obviously everyone in this room is highly educated, but education is such a foundational part of the human experience, right? I think Khan Academy, which is a very well-known educational company, has done a very cool job with this. They actually released their AI tutor that can be used by school districts and teachers around the world completely for free. It's called Khanmigo. And what it does is it helps students not just have a chat with ChatGPT or a generative model. It actually helps guide them through reasoning and figuring out a problem and taking them through the troubleshooting steps to help them solidify their understanding of materials. And this is a really interesting and cool use case of AI, and it's just something that kind of got me passionate, when I was thinking about what are all the amazing things that we do as engineers and security professionals to impact lives in a positive way. So, with all that being said, hopefully you're a little motivated now. We have a really great agenda today, and I'm going to walk you through it really quickly, but the first half of the day that you are currently in right now, which leads us up to lunch, is really all about how can you use AI to build quality software. You're going to hear from some of the best experts in the entire world. I'm going to introduce them in a moment to you about how to build applications with AI, but not just basic applications. How to use all the tools and techniques and best practices that the best engineers in the entire world use to leverage AI to make yourself far more productive than you could be otherwise. You're also going to hear about how to incorporate security into your development workflows to have a truly autonomous security experience, which is something that up until a couple months ago has never existed. So this is like brand new stuff that is happening today. You will all be very early adopters of this, which I think is quite interesting. After lunch, we're going to go into sessions that are focused on how to build quality AI-powered applications. So we're not going to be talking about using AI to write code. We're going to be talking about how do you build applications where AI is the foundational component of your application, right? Like, how do you build these applications? How do you architect them? How do you secure them? And we're going to cover some incredible materials in depth here. So all of you today, you have your laptops open. Hopefully you got the Wi-Fi set up. You're actually going to be going through building your own things. Our instructors will lead you through this all day long. They're going to be showing you tons of stuff. And we have a lot of help and support for you if you get stuck on the way or if you have questions or anything that you need. So, couple of rules for the day, and then we're going to get into the fun stuff, I promise. First of all, it's a workshop, so definitely use your laptop. Don't be afraid to type. It's not rude. All of us will actually be annoyed if you don't, right? So please use and build stuff throughout the day. This is entirely for you. And we've kind of optimized the experience to make sure you can actually build real stuff and have a good time. Secondly, all of us in this room are interested in AI and security. That's a given since you're here. So it's a great place to make friends. There's also not that many of us, so you can really make some good friends, hopefully. So I want to take a moment right now, turn to the people next to you. If you haven't said hi to them, just say hello, my name is blah, and say hi real quick. You know, normally making friends is really difficult, but I love events like this because we're all together in person, which is very rare, and we all have these very shared common interests. So it's a great place to make a friend, you know, have a new buddy, etc., right? All right, so rule number 3, raise your hand if you get stuck or have a question, all right? Now, as you were coming in today, you might have noticed there are some really amazing people who are, you can see them standing in the back and kind of spread out throughout the room. They're wearing black shirts that say human support. If you are one of the technical staff, please throw your hand in the air real quick and just wave. Let people know what you look like. Amazing. Our technical staff, they're all developers and security professionals. They will be here throughout the day. So literally just raise your hand if you get stuck or need some help. They will run over and help you figure out whatever it is that you need. Actually, we do have one person over here, yes, who needs help. So someone, if you could run over, that would be fantastic. But yeah, we'll be around the room all day long, so please take advantage of us. If you see me, by the way, feel free to pull me in. I'm happy to help with whatever. The last rule, of course, is to have fun. So in the spirit of having fun, there's a few things. First of all, just build some stuff and have a good time. Secondly, we have coffee here all day. So when you first walked in, you passed the coffee cart. They will be happy to make you your favorite type of coffee, no problem. Also, we have all of our amazing sponsors for the event in the room right next door. And if you haven't talked to the sponsors or been by their booths, I just want to personally let you know, all the companies who are here are like incredibly good. I've personally used, I think, like 95% of their tools, and I genuinely like them. We have really, really good sponsors of the event. So if you want to learn about cool stuff they're doing, please go talk to them during breaks. Or if you need a break, you can go get a coffee, talk to a sponsor. It's very casual, so this whole day is set up for you, so just take advantage of it.